Disclaimer. This video is for community purposes only. None of the events told in this story are factual, and any likeliness to another person or story is purely coincidental. I've not touched Black Ops 2 in years, and this is on a PC with the controller, so it's weird. I do apologize for that. Anyways, here's the story. So one day, my family had randomly decided to visit China for vacation. I was really excited, as most people would be, and I eagerly awaited the trip. On the plane, I had thoughts of what I would do there, what I would eat, the typical stuff. The plane landed around 2:15 p.m., so there was still time in the day to look around, grab a bite to eat at a restaurant, that stuff. My parents and I decided that we would eat at Yummy Golden Lucky Dragon Star Palace. I had probably some of the best chicken of my life there, and I was insanely excited to see what else the trip had in store. At the hotel room, we were greeted by North Korean officials, but my parents, they disregarded it. So they went on upstairs to the room. I was just kind of hanging out in the lobby. Not knowing why there were North Koreans in my hotel, I tried to ask them a question. I was barely able to speak a word of Korean before they slapped me across the face. They muttered something in Korean to each other, and one of the men grabbed me. My family had already made their way to the room, so they had no idea what was going on in the lobby. All the staff were trained not to intervene with the Korean soldiers, and so nobody came to my aid when I began to scream. Violently, they took me to the back of a van where they proceeded to beat me unconscious. As I woke up, they were just getting ready to board me onto a helicopter. I was terrified, but I couldn't say a word. My throat was in hellfire, and any sound I attempted to produce would make me cough up blood. I tried to resist getting in the helicopter, but it was no use. My body had been so badly beaten that I could barely stand, so fighting was out of the option. On the helicopter, I attempted to reach for my phone to dial my parents so that they could get help. One of the men saw, so he grabbed my phone and threw it out of the side of the helicopter and held up a paper. On it was a photograph of a man who bore a striking resemblance to me. I still couldn't speak, but I knew that this couldn't be good. A few hours later, we landed. As the man forced me off, I looked around the barren landscape. Nothing but dirt and mountains for what could have been miles. One thing, however, was very visible. It was some sort of camp, similar to what the Nazis may have used. The men once again beat me unconscious, and I woke up in agonizing pain in a freezing cold, blank cell. I knew where I was. I was a prisoner in a North Korean defector camp. I knew I had to listen to whatever I was told and attempt to survive as long as possible to formulate a plan. As the restless days went on, I grew weaker and weaker. It felt like a lifetime was spent in that camp. The daily labor, accompanied by the beatings, it was hell. One night, I noticed a guard patrolling the cells. Earlier, I had snuck a hammer from working and hid it in my torn pants. I cried out in fake pain, waiting for the guard to come beat me unconscious once again. But as he opened up my cell, I lunged at him with the hammer and beat him to death. Thankfully, no other guards were alerted. I quickly changed into his clothes and took all of his keys and whatnot. I made my way for the exit of the camp when I noticed something. It was my phone. The guards threw it out of the helicopter to torment me, but picked it up when I was knocked out. Why? I really didn't care. I used it to dial my family, but there was no reception. I tried to make my way out of the camp when a guard stopped me. He quickly saw my uniform, however, and he apologized and let me go. I made it out and into the man's car, and I began to drive away. I kept an eye on my phone until I was finally in range of some cell tower somewhere, no idea. I dialed my family and they picked up. I had explained everything and they told me I would soon be okay. I waited, lost in North Korea for another 2 days with no food, water, or heat, until I heard another helicopter. I thought that was it. I thought that I was going to be killed and found the body. But as it descended, United States SEALs began descending from the helicopter. They picked me up and administered secret drugs. I later woke up in a American hospital, malnourished but still clinging on to life. To this day, I still don't know who the man I killed was, or the man who saved me was. I still think about it every single day. There's not much left to the video, but I just want to say thank you guys for sticking around through the story. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Other than that, please just enjoy the little bit of gameplay that they have left, and I'll see you later.
We've lost the advantage. We've pulled forward.